Do I do my song now? The first song?
If you'd like.
Yeah, please do. Now, how do I turn the sound off on this?
I'm turning that off right now.
This is a song just for you guys.
Oh.
So this is a new song, but not as new. This is like last week's.
Wow.
Your new song comes later.
Oh, okay.
You're a productive guy.
So, so this song actually didn't start out with any intentions, but when I started writing the second verse, I realized that I was using some of the power words, the 12 power words. So I tried to squeeze them all in there, and without them being too unsubtle, you know. And so they're all in there apart from order, which was super difficult to fit in. But then, as somebody pointed out, the words were put in order anyway. So we'll stand here together in this moment right now, as we move on our way through this moment of power. In our circle of friends, knowing the power of choice, we lift each other up with one united voice. So you guys can sing along with me when we get there. This is the chorus. You and me, we are unity. You and me, we are unity. You and me, we are unity. Unity. Shall we do that together? You and me, we are unity. You and me, we are unity. You and me, we are unity. Unity. We see in each other an unlimited strength. Have faith in the wisdom that love can set us free. Release all the things that we no longer need. Imagine a life full of passion and zeal. You and me, we are unity. You and me, we are unity. You and me, we are unity. We'll stand here together in this moment right now, as we move on our way through this moment of power. In our circle of friends, knowing the power of choice, we lift each other up with one united voice. You and me, we are unity. You and me, we are unity. You and me, we are unity. Unity. We see in each other an unlimited strength. Have faith in the wisdom that love can set us free. Release all the things that we no longer need. We imagine a life full of passion and zeal. You and me, we are unity. Oh, you and me, we are unity. You and me, we are unity. 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 There you go.
Wow.
Sounds like we're in a room full of angelic voices. We've got some more singing for you later.
It's nice to hear a unity song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get behind
Yeah,
it
exactly, yeah.
as one. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Hello, Andrea Giel. It is such a blessing to see shining light here in Fredericksburg. Joining us on Facebook with We so love having you here with us in spirit. And be sure to like and share our live stream. It's now time for the lighting of the Christ candle. Here at Unity, we will begin with a simple moment of connection with our spiritual nature. Our Christ candle reminds us that within each person there is divine light. As we light this candle now, I invite you to say with me, soon.
Sorry, give me one second.
That's okay, this is taking me a little. So between the two of us, we'll be I'll say, we open our hearts.
We open our people.
We are willing to shine our inner light.
We are willing to shine our inner light
into the world.
into the world.
And we make space.
And we make space
for others to do the same.
for others to do the same.
Okay. I kind of like that better than just reading it off
Yeah.
the bat. You think
Yeah,
about it more.
I like that
Yeah.
better.
Okay, and now we offer an affirmative prayer with peaceful hearts.
With peaceful
We're on
hearts,
a roll here. We are open to the divine flow
we are open to the divine flow
of abundance,
of abundance,
ideas,
ideas,
and substance.
and substance.
Okay, this morning we welcome Daniel Kepel. Daniel is a singer-songwriter, musician, and teacher with a passion for positive music and a style all of his own. Classically trained in London in music and a style all of his own. Classically trained in London and Cambridge, England, he now serves as music minister at Unity in the Seven Hills of Lynchburg and teaches a violin, viola, and voice. His intention is to spread peace, positivity, and personal power through his ministry and the message of his music. Now for the blessing of the children. We love
We
you.
love
We love
you,
We
bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are.
And now, okay, our mission statement. We are advancing
We are advancing
the movement of spiritual awakening
the movement of spiritual awakening
and transformation
and transformation
through unity,
through unity,
a positive path for spiritual living.
a positive path for spiritual living.
Okay, now unity principle number 4, together.
Prayer and meditation
keep
keep
us
us aligned
with the one great power in the universe. Now for community news, food and fellowship. We are bringing back a popular tradition here at Unity of Fredericksburg. Next Sunday, August 28th, bring a dish to pass or just bring your divine self and join us for fellowship after the service. Main dishes, salads, veggies, desserts, or your appetite, all are welcome. We plan to continue fellowship on the 4th Sunday of each month. There is a refrigerator here for cold storage and plenty of space for crock pots and plates or platters in the break room. Storage space upgrade. Thanks to everyone who volunteered to help us move into a larger storage space yesterday. And I understand that Randy was a big help.
he was
And
big.
Linda
Huge help.
Thornton, and who else? Linda Thornton, obviously
Eli,
Natalie,
Eli.
So, that is great. Their ages ranged from 3 to 63 and beyond. And all our items are much more accessible now. We do have a beautiful angel painting in the unit. It came up again. That
Yeah.
needs a home out of the heat and cold. It's very nice. It's about.
It's very large.
It's pretty big, but not big, you know. And it is an original. This woman who used to be involved with our church, she painted it. Is the same one that hung in the front of our sanctuary back at General Washington Center. Let us are called to babysit our angel for a period of time until we again have our own space. Okay, new class with Reverend Cheryl. Unity believes that the Christ is within everyone. This belief is perhaps the single greatest distinguishing characteristic between Unity and traditional Christianity. Unity refers to the Christ as a timeless divine idea. The primary goal of this course is to help you develop an effective understanding of what the Christ is and how you are part of the Christ idea. Whether you are a beginning Unity student or have studied Unity teachings extensively, you will These lessons develop both a head and a heart understanding of the Christ. You can also receive SEE credit for this course through Unity Worldwide Ministries. It will be on Zoom every Tuesday starting this week, this Tuesday through September 20. Email Reverend Cheryl for the Zoom link. The class is offered on a love offering basis. Okay, now for YouTube live stream. Beginning September 4th, we will move from live streaming on Facebook and YouTube to YouTube only. You can find the YouTube link in the weekly newsletter or on our website at www.ufva.org. Thurman Brisbane, we have another positive tradition here at UFF. Each month, several volunteers gather to cook and serve dinner at Thurman Brisbane Homeless Shelter in Fredericksburg. This is our only family, although it takes individuals, it's our only family shelter other than our one for domestic violence. This group, coordinated by Bonnie Oakes, has been serving for over 20 years. However, right now their funds are diminishing. Your generous donation is urgently needed. $5, $10, or $50, any amount will help continue the program. It costs about $200 a month to buy the food to prepare. Okay, let Judy or anyone on the board know you want your gift to go to Thurman Brisbane. But there is a link that will directly do that in the newsletter. And we'll see that it gets to them. Namaste and thank you. Statement of commitment. Unity of Fredericksburg stands in solidarity with all people for diversity and inclusion. In this week's newsletter, there's a short description with a link that's entitled Social Justice Merchandise, Signs of Justice. Ever judge a person by their bumper sticker message? What type of judgments do we form when we see social justice signs, t-shirts, or messages? Here you'll find some social justice merchandise to maybe give you something to say. Very intriguing. And if you'd like to receive our newsletter, just email us at info@uova.org. Now we pause to pray for Ukraine. We would like to take this moment to focus our hearts on the people of Ukraine. Our hearts join together in prayer for the people there. It's been a long time. We hold the highest vision for peace and tranquility. We give thanks knowing that God is present in every situation, and so it is. Now for the daily word. The daily word today is gratitude. Gratitude is my natural state of mind. What joy it is to feel gratitude rising from my heart and filling my mind. Feeling grateful makes me aware of the all-encompassing presence of God, including the divine within me. When I live from my spiritual nature, gratitude becomes the song of my heart. I don't need to wait for a reason to feel grateful. When I live with an attitude of gratitude, I find the good in every situation, the blessing that can come from any adversity, and the presence of God in every aspect of my life. Practicing gratitude opens my eyes to the blessings that are present and more. I give thanks for an unlimited world, blissful peace, and perfect wholeness. And the scriptural passage today is from Psalms, chapter 95, verse 2. Let us come into his presence with thanksgiving. Let us make a joyful noise to him with songs of praise. And together,
Gratitude is my natural state of mind.
And now for our speaker.
I like that.
I love this title.
Yeah.
Yay!
So I'm going to start actually with a song. I hope I don't screw up. But if I do, that's okay.
Yeah.
A little bit of summer is what the year is all about. Like a little bit of living makes life worthwhile. You can move mountains, you were born to stand out. Be an original, yeah, and make this one count. How many summers do we have to put best life ever. Do 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 do. Your best life ever. Do 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 do. Your best life ever. Do 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 do. Your best life ever. Do 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 do. Oh, a little bit of sunshine and a whole lot of rain makes all the good things grow and takes away the pain. You can't break the rules. Take the time to set apart, ignoring what you think with your head and leading with your heart. Yeah. How many summers do we have to put together? How many summers do we have to put together? How many summers do we have to put together? Your best life ever. Do 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 do. Your best life ever. Do 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 do. Your best life ever. Do 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 do. Your best life ever. Do 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 do. Oh, a little bit of summer is what the year is all about. Like a little bit of living that makes a life worthwhile. You can move mountains, you were born to stand out. Be an original, yeah, and make this one count. How many summers do we have to put together? How many summers do we have to put together? How many summers do we have to put together? Your best life ever. Do 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 do. Your best life ever. Do 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 do. Your best life ever. Do 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 do. Your best life ever. There you go. That's my best. I have mixed feelings on that song. Seems to put a little pressure on us, right? So, I got some more songs afterwards, don't worry. We're going to release some of that pressure, and hopefully the talk will do some of that as well. So, I just screwed up. I think I just screwed up. Actually, I don't know, right? But if I did, that's okay. Yay! A member of the congregation at U7H, that's Unity in the Seven Hills, messaged me out of the blue, and I gotta tell you, she does it, and this is the only time she's ever done it. And when I told her that I was preparing to give a talk, she said that what she wanted to hear was how to remove the fear that blocks success. Now, I'm not one who does exactly what I'm told. I'm a creative after all, but when I hear the universe speaking to me, it sends me a message or a messenger. I take note. But here's my twist on that theme. Whether we like it or not, we have been brought up in our world, society, with old world beliefs to directly or indirectly believe that the message of the traditional church, that we are all sinners, is the one that we should take on board. Now, that we will never be what we should, that we can never live up to God's expectations for our life or the perfect example that was sent to us to show the way, Jesus of Nazareth, the Son of God. We have one go at this existence. This is like my song, okay? This is the dark side. We have one go at this existence, and frankly, we are falling short. The more awareness that we have of ourselves, it seems the more awareness we have of our shortcomings. Rather than living in a state of perfect bliss, we live in a state of increasing guilt. I'm only talking for me, guys. Thanks. What's more, we have that perfect panic as we live into the very human realization that our time is running out. It's pretty heavy, right? The best that we can. How do we go from here and get it right for once? Like we should, right? What's the perfect path to take? Just joking. Why are we? Don't we have a purpose? Why am I doing all that I should be doing right now? And sometimes we look at our lives and where we are and reflect back. What a mess. How did I get here? Doing what I'm doing and maybe more, not doing what I should be. Yes, we've made steps, but were they really the right ones? Why didn't I just stay on my proper path? And did I really do all that I should have? We criticize ourselves and think we should have done this or we should have done that. It's time to stop it. I mean, really, stop it. Right now. That's part of our old thinking. It's our lizard brain, our monkey mind, fight or flight. It's old school, and it's not what we have been taught in New Thought. Which is not new, by the way. It's time to start living differently, believing differently, to live a life of self-acceptance, to live a lighter life. Let's take a breath and release all of that, because that was a lot. It's time to start living into a different paradigm. But first, let's go back. And let's take a look at the traditional religion for a second. So the message of Jesus may have been misrepresented to us. That one that's been holding on to us for 2,000 years. The gospel is good news. That's exactly what it means. What's good about the we've been receiving? Not too much. At least from a personal standpoint. It has well suited the church and nicely placed it into a position of authority as man's only real connection to the divine. If I get down on the traditional church, I apologize, but some things have to be said sometimes. A message put forward by its own authority and to give it authority. It may not be the message that we were supposed to be getting from the Gospels and the story of Jesus, but more of a man-made, or more importantly, a church-made interpretation or reinterpretation of the message that was originally intended. It's so funny because I was speaking today with our host at the Airbnb and this came up, and not from me, from her originally. So, if you're watching, Sharon, you. The original intention may be a more uplifting message. The philosopher Alan Watts said, there is a much more subtle Christianity of the theologians, the mystics and the philosophers, but it's not what gets preached from the pulpit. What would the real gospel be? The real good news is not just simply that Jesus of Nazareth was the Son of God, but he was a powerful Son of God who came to open everybody's eyes to the fact that you are too, that we all are. To John 10, verse 30, Jesus says, Father are one. And some of the folks didn't like that. They picked up stones to stone him. He says, many good works have I shown you from the Father, and for which of these do you stone me? He was pretty smart. They say back to him, for a good work we stone you not, but for blasphemy, because you being a man make yourself God. And he replied, isn't it written in your law, I have said you are gods? That's the quote. In this, Jesus is referring to the words of Psalm 80, the second Psalm, verse 6. So you had a Psalm quote this morning. And in that it says, I said, you are gods. You are all sons of the Most High. Jesus goes on to say, and those to whom he gave his word, he was speaking in a form of English. Jesus. The scriptures, how can you say so I am a son of God? Now, in what was passed on to us, this was retranslated to the Son of God. But the original Greek translation says, a Son of God, not the. So that we are all sons and daughters in this room of God. Now, and what was passed on to, done that. So when he says, I am the way, no man comes to the Father but me, this I am, this me, is the divine in all of us. In Hebrew, that would be called the Ruach Adonai. This message that we are all of a divine nature is the gospel, the good news. The message that we could have been taking all these centuries, and how life might be different if we believed truly that we were born of and so closely connected to the divine. Just think how this world would be different. And to bring it back to unity, if we had true faith in our first and second principles, how could this world be different? How might it be different? So I'm going to read the first one. God is all there is and present everywhere. This is the force of love and wisdom that underlies all of existence. God is. Human beings, this is the second one, human beings are divine at their core and therefore inherently good. All of us. Could we really, in that circumstance, be off of our path? Or maybe we're just overturning a rock here or there along our way, attracting experiences and lessons to add to our portfolio of experiences and things that we learn. Indeed, the smell of a flower, and I'll explain this in a minute, and the breaking of an ankle are experientially divine. The breaking of my own ankle, falling from a ladder, the rain, well, not wise, led me to pursue music as my career, full-time. No more gutters and windows for me. But even after that, I still had an interesting situation that came up. It's another little challenge that I had to overcome and make a decision in a moment. So I'm going to tell you a little story about, I'm a violinist. Now, I play some guitar as well, but fundamentally a violinist and viola player. I was fixing up a house, picking up one of those big bathroom mirrors, you know, the double ones, you know, that it's for two sinks traditionally, whatever. And so I'm picking it up very carefully because on this side, it's cut. I mean, it's already broken, so I'm picking it up very carefully. And so I begin to move it and it breaks and slices through my fingers. These three fingers, the three main fingers that you use when you're playing the violin, the tips to those ones, and the middle, you can see that one. That's the only one that you can see left. Right? And right down to the bone. And it also helped me to make another distinction, because in that moment my first wife was like, oh my God, how are you going to do your gigs? Not how's your fingers, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's another story for another time. But yeah, in that moment, and I actually did have a gig that evening, and there was nobody that could do what I had to do, because I was doing a musical and switching back and forth between the violin. The musical was Spring Awakenings, if any of you know it. It's not kind of a nice traditional easygoing musical, and the parents of the 18-year-old had said to him, you're not doing that musical. So he had to pull out at the last minute. So I was switching back and forth. Now I had a challenge, and when I went to the walk-in clinic, and they said, oh, I think we're gonna have to do stitches, and I said, don't do stitches, because I knew that would be like weeks of recovery, that stuff. I think it probably would have been painful, and probably would have ended up looking a lot worse than that, right? And lost sensitivity in my fingers and such. So I told them to glue it back together, and on my finger. But I played that musical with rubber tips on my fingers, or balloons the first night because I didn't have any rubber gloves. And at the end of the evening, kind of grotesque, but anyway, I would have to glue my fingers back together again because they had come apart in the with the sweat and whatever and the heat, you know. So there you go. But I had to decide in that moment, if I didn't have fingers, was I still a musician? Could I still be a musician? And I had to think. That's a question, right? About being and doing and who you are. And I decided that I was still a musician. Whatever happened. So, all of these learning experiences and so many more led me to where I am today. I had a conversation with Doug, the owner of Apocalypse Ale, a brewery in Forest. I was sharing a gig with another musician, and he was talking to me, starting violin lessons during the break. Thank you. Although, I'll move it back, there you go. Although he had a major challenge of his own, moving forward at this time. He had his tendons had tightened up, and his fingers were like this. Now he'd had on one hand the bowing would be his bowing hand. He had actually already had surgery and it had opened up, and he was waiting a year for that to recover so that he could get the other one done. So, you know, it's quite a challenge. And I asked him what his goal would be for playing the violin. He said that he would want to do what I do, which is get up and be able to play with other musicians in different styles and any key. And I told him that to do that, he would need to do one thing really well, right? Because he'd never played the violin before. And he answered knowingly. I think, oh, practice. You know, practice. I said, no. Well, the practice would be important. More than that, he would have to step out of his comfort zone. When I spent my time in training, that's exactly what I did, over and over and over again. I played for hours in an evening down at a place called Jimmy's on the James, and I would start at 6 o'clock, play with Jimmy as he played the piano and sang to jazz. Jimmy's on the James he would listen to these tracks and he like one finger play the guitar, the piano in front of him. It's like this nice piano. And by the end of the time that I knew him, he was playing everything as well as singing. You know? So I would start with him. He would like everything was in D flat, ridiculous keys, F sharp. You know, so it was some real training for a violinist. And then I would play with the other musicians that would come in, and at that time everyone was playing for fun, for free. So they'd come in, and I would play pop, R&B, blues, jazz, funk, or at the end of the night with folks rapping until 2 a.m. So I would go basically straight through from 2 o'clock till 6 o'clock to 2 a.m. And that's time put in. But there was more. I learned comfort through making myself uncomfortable, through stretching myself, through making mistakes and realizing that it wasn't the end of the world. I played with Jimmy's band from Richmond that would come into Lynchburg once a month, and they were fantastic. They were very fine professional musicians, and this is his old band because he came from Richmond. And when I first played with them, they were way above my standard skill and my comfort to play with, but I still did it. Soon I could keep up with them, actually, and rather well in the end. So I've heard it said that in order to be good at something, and you probably have some version of this, you have to take the time to learn the distinctions that make you successful at that thing. So you have to learn the distinctions to be good at something. And that the only way to learn those distinctions by making mistakes, by being bad first, right? Most people don't just jump into something and become like experts immediately. We've got to kind of work our way through not so good. So to make those mistakes and never to stop learning and not to stop growing, not to stop improving and not to stop becoming. So set your sights, your vision, set your sails, your course, and course correct when necessary, but keep on moving on and through. Now, if there's something that you want to do, find a way of doing it and lean into it, even if it's uncomfortable, really uncomfortable to start off with. Correct errors as quickly as you can. I think learning is important. You don't want to be making the same mistakes over and over again. Learning the lesson that a mistake can give you and keep going, because you will never get there to whatever there is for you if you don't. You got to keep on going. And hey, there, most of the time changes anyway. We get half the way to where we think there is, and that's there was, right? There is somewhere totally different. So be brave, because as someone who was running a course that I recently attended reminded us, a child of God can never come to any harm. If we really let's take a moment to think about that. Let's shut our eyes and take a breath and realize the child of God can never come to any harm. There is nothing wrong with making mistakes, or from learning the distinctions those opportunities of growth give you. So, don't stay stuck inside the mediocrity of your comfort zone. Be willing to step forward, to fail forward fast. All the great people have failed forward fast. In my blurb that I sent to Judy, I mentioned it's time to start living differently, believing differently, rooted in realistic self-acceptance. So realistic self-acceptance, most people would think that would be a very grounded thing, like realistic can't be up here. But find out who you really are. And if you think back to those first and second unity principles, you are an extension of God. You are divine. The even greater things can you do. So now is your time. This is your place. Be kind with yourself and with others. And know that you are always on your journey. You can never be off your journey. I behold the Christ in you. I want for you all to behold the Christ in you too. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to do 2 songs. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So angels have come up for me, and you're going to see it here in the second song I'm going to do, which you're going to sing along with. You don't know that yet, but you are going to sing along. That's a totally new song. So we're staying at our Airbnb with Sharon. Hey, Sharon. And she's got this mix of stuff all around her, rocks and Zen Buddhist things and Nash. I said that right, and I think maybe I didn't probably butchered it. But anyway, and then she's got angels around her as well. And then Angel walks in. And then you said something about angels today. So the one line in that second song that I was doubting was the one about angels. So I during the pandemic times, I spent my time learning the guitar and also learning to write songs. And what I found out was thing is divinely inspired and comes through you pretty quickly. That's not the end of it. Part of writing a song is crafting it, and so I'll write things. And whereas I would have thought, okay, that's it. That's what I was supposed to write. Now I spend my time crafting the songs into something better. So we're going to hear about angels in a second. But one line that I was doubting, and you know that's the thing. You know, that we spend our life sometimes in that kind of doubt of the divine. The divinity that's all around us, and you guys you might struggle more in Northern Virginia to do that, or when you've got cars cutting you off and people flipping you the bird or whatever they do, and to see the divine in others. Anyway. It's time to step out of your comfort zone. Never stop learning, never stop growing. There ain't nobody who can do what you do. No one does you better than you do. No one does you better than you do. Go-getter all around town. No one in this world gonna keep you down. There ain't nobody who can do what you do. No one does you better than you do. No one does you better than you do. You gotta feel it to really heal it. You gotta know it to really show it. Keep on going and blowing and knowing and showing, 'cause you're a real go-getter all around town. No one in this world gonna keep you down. There ain't nobody who can do what you do. No one does you better than you do. No one does you better than you do. No one does it better than you do. There you go. No one does you better. So, move into who you are. And know you are. You are a blessing. You are divine. You are the one you're waiting for, so let it shine. You are the reason, you are the way. So step out of your comfort zone and live today. Here comes the sunshine as you're walking down the street, blessing all the people and everyone you meet. You are sun. You are the sun. That's the chorus, you can sing it. You are the sun. You are the sun. You are the sun. A part of God. And as you're passing through this world where angels trod, you are deliverance. You are the light. You are the brightest lightest star. Shine bright into the night. Here comes the sunshine as you're walking down the street, blessing all the people and everyone you meet. You are the sun. You are the sun. made a mistake. I am the sun. Yay! I am the sun. I am the sun. Can you sing that while I do another thing? I am the sun. I am the sun. You are a blessing.
I am the sun.
You are divine.
I am the sun.
You are the one.
I am the sun.
So let it shine.
I am the sun.
You are the reason.
I am the sun.
You are the way.
I am the sun.
So step out of your comfort zone. And then you're walking down the street, blessing all the people and everyone you meet with that fifth unity principle of action, of being and doing. You are the sun. You are the sun. Yes, you are. You are the sun. Sing to each other. You are the sun. 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 There you go.
Oh.
So that's the first time that's ever been heard in public.
Very nice.
So excuse the mistakes. But hey, I'm on my journey and I'm learning. I'm getting better all the time. Cheers. So what happens now? Do we do the meditation?
Meditation.
I'm going to do another, there's a lot of music to play. I'm going to do another song. This is Eddie Watkins. And I'll do a shortened version. Let's take you into meditation as you realize who you really are. There is a garden where dreams come true. A beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows. A beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true. A beautiful garden. That garden is you. Let's take some deep breaths now in this moment of power and relaxation, strength and calm. That we are on the journey. We are always on that journey. There is no wrong. Centering in my breath now. You realize that we are guided by the divine light that lives in us and all the people we meet. And we realize in this moment and in all the moments as we take them through our week, that we are all a part of that divine light, all connected, all inspired in the breath, the Spirit of God. We seek to encourage and enhance that spirit and the divine in others around us and in who we are and in who we be. In every moment, every day, we are divinity. We have a likeness to the responsive sons and daughters of God in this place, in this time, right now. As we go into the silence for a few moments, we realize who we really are. Focusing again on the breath. We take that message of who we are, our divine spark that lives in and through us and all humanity and animals. Everything in perfect balance on this planet. We fan the flames of our own divinity and of those around us. Sending the light out into the dark. Out. So take a few more breaths as we find our place in this moment, this time, right here and right now. Thank you for spending some time with me.
Thank you.
The angels.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Great meditation, great lesson. I love the way that you wove both the 12 powers and the first and second principle into it. And also, I think maybe that's one of the topic of your discussion is one of those human things that everybody pretty much finds challenging. You know, the idea of making errors and being afraid to make errors, and yet you gave us some tools to work with. So thank you. And thank you for coming all the way from Lynchburg.
You're welcome.
That needs to be said. So now for our conscious giving of tithes and gifts together.
Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful.
Our offerings. We acknowledge the source of all that is, and we hold an attitude of gratitude for these tithes and love offerings that have been so freely given. We are grateful for the many ways that our gifts will serve this community. And now for the prayer box. And we enfold the loving souls who have requested prayers in the absolute truth of God, declaring with pure faith that all prayers are heard and responded to in the highest expression of God's will. And so it is. Amen. And now for our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Yay. And now for the prayer for protection.
So, we were the first church I ever shared this with. This is my song for the prayer for protection, so it's really easy. We'll do it twice just so you make sure you get at least one good go in. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God calls us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. We do this 3 times. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well. The light of God surrounds your sense. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well.
Thank you for joining us today and for sharing your light. Namaste. Thank you so much. Oh, that was great. That was great.
Oh, such good
That was a huge
services
treat.
here.
I really like that.
Wow, such good